Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bubby Brister and Friends Fantasy Football Podcast presented by Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Bubby is stuck at Burning Man this week, so it's just me and Nick again. Nick, I got some notes for us to go over real quick. So, Puka Nacua broke Anquan Bolden's 20-year-old NFL record for the most rookie receptions in their first two games. Bolden had 18 and Nacua is 26. How sustainable is this for Puka Nacua?
It is not. It is not. Unfortunately, it is not. He is Cinderella for those who picked him up and had him. Good on y'all, man. But Cooper Cup comes back, the love will be back because you just can't run with that much small wide receivers out there. And Cooper Cup is more of a sure-handed guy than Puka. But he's no slouch though. I can see Puka turning in to the next. I can see Puka having he'll turn into Wes Welker, kind of like how Bill Belichick saw Wes Welker on the Miami Dolphins, saw what he could do, saw his potential, and it was like, you know what, I'll bring him over here, and then he brought him over here, and then unlocked the potential, and somebody like, well, I see him over there and see what he's doing, but they're gonna bring Cooper to come back, and Cooper is going to be the guy because they're paying him. So he's going to be the guy.
If he can stay healthy.
Yeah, if he can stay healthy, but I don't foresee him getting hurt again. You missed the first 4 games. You got to be healthy now. And all of a sudden, when his contract's up, somebody's going to drop a bag on him to be Cooper Cup 2.0 somewhere else.
I have Tutu Atwell on my team, and he keeps doing pretty well on my bench, but I'm afraid to get him in my lineup just yet. So he might turn into a pumpkin, too, when Cooper Cup comes back.
Yeah, I have Atwell in another league myself.
Have you played him yet?
Nope, I have not. He's sitting on my bench, just sitting there like, man, I don't know.
Like,
I'm
come
scared.
on, man. Put me in, coach. Tutu, I don't know. The next note is Christian McCaffrey. He tied the 49ers franchise record held by Jerry Rice since 1987 by scoring a touchdown in his 12th straight game. The NFL record is held by... I guess I'll let you guess. Do you have any guesses on who the NFL record is held by for most consecutive games with a touchdown? It's 2 running backs.
All right, so perfect. All right, so I was like, it's not. Okay, so I would think I'm going to go on a limb and say Sean Alexander.
Nope.
Is he one?
Guess, so.
All right.
Nope.
Let's try. Then it would be LT and Priest Holmes.
Nope. I'll give you a hint on one.
Whoa.
He allegedly murdered his wife.
Allegedly murdered his wife? What running back did that? What? Oh, Jamal Lewis? I mean, what? What was that? Allegedly killed his wife. Whoa. I don't know who that is, like, at all. Like, what?
It's Nordberg, O.J. Simpson.
Oh, okay, Norberg. Okay, allegedly. Okay, no, he did. My bad. That isn't fact. That's facts. Okay, that's not fiction. Okay, my man literally wrote a book said how I did it. So I mean, if I would do it, and it's come on, man. I would never saw that coming. Damn, OJ.
Yeah.
Is it Jim Brown then the other guy or something?
No. You're dancing around with some good names, but you're not getting it. The other one is a.
Eric Dickerson?
Nope. A white Redskins running back from the 80s.
Whoa, that's that man. I forgot him. He was like I can't think of the name. I know exactly what you're talking about though. He was with the Hogs back in the 80s, won Super Bowl with them.
Yeah.
Big boy.
Yep,
What's his
John
name?
Riggins.
Yeah, there you go.
John
yeah.
Riggins.
He's on the, that's how I'm not a Commanders fan, guys. I'm sorry. Because I know he's been on like the Redskin show all the time at one moment.
Yeah, he used to be on the radio a lot down here, and he was terrible at it. I couldn't believe he had his own show.
Yeah, I remember that.
So they hold the record that McCaffrey is chasing. Emmitt Smith in 94 and Arian Foster in 2011 each had 13-game streaks.
Arian Foster.
The next note is Andy Reid. Yeah, Foster. He came out of nowhere. He was undrafted, right? Arian Foster?
He was undrafted, and then he was like the backup, and then he just he was weird because he was very Clinton Portis like. He wasn't strong, but he was silky about how he gets through the line, whatever, and he would he was never known as a power back, but he had great hands. And the Texans, they were always behind, so I don't know how it even worked. They had to run.
Same blocking scheme too. That Shanahan blocking scheme that Portis benefited from.
Yeah,
that Houston was running at the time. Gary
Kubiak was the coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the running back that Foster replaced? I don't remember.
I don't.
It was like a fantasy darling that like got injured or something, and then Arian Foster just took control.
That's a good question.
Are you looking it up?
I'm trying to, because that's actually a fantastic question, because I can't remember. Because it's weird, because he kind of came out of nowhere, and for him just to
I couldn't even
that guy.
tell you what years he was big in.
The Adrian Foster, he played 8 seasons. He had 1,400 carries, 6,500 yards, 255 catches, 68 touchdowns. Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? He ended his career in the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, that was bad. I think that's when he went vegan.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was like, what are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing, bud? In 2010, he had 1,600 yards rushing and 16 touchdowns.
Wow. It was that long ago.
So, yeah. And he holds a team record all-time leader in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns with 54.
Okay, I found it. Steve Slayton is who I was thinking of.
Oh, man. Come on, man. Steve Slayton from West Virginia. I like that dude there. He was a slasher, and I was like, this West Virginia was him, and then the other guy, his quarterback, got drafted by the Dolphins. He was undersized, whatever. He was kind of Lamar
Pat
Jackson.
White.
There it is. He was Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson, but he was way undersized, and they gave him no chance. And it was like Slayton and him were like so dynamic, West Virginia.
Yeah, Slayton was like a hot fantasy pick, and he really didn't pan out. I thought whenever I was started this thread that we're pulling on, I was thinking it was a bigger name with bigger production, but Slayton is who it was. He was overdrafted big time, and then Foster came in and was just like, yeah, man, you're not getting this job back. So the Commanders got stomped by Buffalo. Buffalo had their 29th 30-plus point game since the start of 2020. They're the first game since 1963 with 9 sacks and 5 takeaways. So did we learn a lot about Sam Howell that game, or was it just a bad game?
We learned a lot about Sam Howell that game. We knew who he was.
I didn't know. I was all in.
I said Sam Howell's not that guy. I said, like I said, the Commanders are gaslighting people, saying we're gonna really compete. No, they're trying to get that top draft pick quarterback, and they're setting up the team around this team so that when they get that good quarterback, they just plug him in. Like, now we're ready to compete. We got the running backs, we got the defensive line, we got the corners, we got this. Look at all the young talent we got, and now we got
the cap space.
We got the cap space. How he's nice and all, but he's sorry. You know what I mean? The question is, will Riverboat Ron survive this season, or will they just kill this team off again? And then when they draft a quarterback, they're gonna have to get a whole new coach, that's offensive coach, that's gonna help teach this guy whatever, because they don't ever draft quarterbacks with a defensive head coach.
Yeah, I want to see how it will work out, obviously, because there's nothing better than a cheap quarterback who can be successful. But if he has games like he did against Buffalo, if that's his floor, which is terrible, but the week before is his ceiling,
no, his ceiling.
Do you think he has a future?
Dallas.
Well, do you think he has a future as a long-term backup? Because I do think he has that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? We talked about this in the first podcast, that if you could show that you're competent, whatever, you could have a very long career, a la look at Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's on prime television now. And, he just Ryan Fitzmagic put him on television. And now he has a steady job. He was going to coach football, high school football, and now he's doing this.
I was so devastated that year he signed with Washington, and he got injured in the second second quarter of game 1, and I was like, because they were going to unleash him. They had nothing to lose.
Nothing.
They had new receivers.
It was after he was
going to fling it.
It was right after Tampa, right?
Yeah, where he was playing the best ball of his career, basically.
Yes. Yeah, and they're like, all right, we're gonna lower how much you throw the ball, but you're gonna still sling it around the yard. And yeah, he got hurt immediately, and it was like, damn. But with him getting hurt, though, the tail of Taylor Heineke wouldn't be around. So it's kind of like,
which is fun,
right? Which is fun. I think the guy who is gonna be, I don't think he's gonna play that long because he's gonna be actually a doctor. Is Dobbs. Dobbs showed you this last game that I could play football on a big scale, and I could do it. And it's like, well, that one, Josh, as long as you want to play, you can play. He's going to have a backup job somewhere.
Did you see he went into the Cardinals team store and he tried to get his jersey customized, and he wasn't an option out of all the players?
Yeah, that's funny. That's stuff that you take a picture and you tell your kids about. You're like, I'm starting quarterback, and this is how much disrespect me right here. They don't this how much they believe in the tank in Arizona, and they were like, oh, we didn't want to think somebody would buy the quarterback's jersey.
So things are pretty bad for the Vikings already. They had 8 fumbles all of last season. They have 7 already this year. Do you think they trade Kirk Cousins to the Jets?
So another team that's gaslighting and believing in the tank is the New York Jets. You can tell by the head coach, and the idea they brought in Trevor Siemian this week to compete is not good. And he's losing the locker room. So I had the Jets defense in another league, and now since I heard the Jets players are getting upset with the head coach, whatever, I have to drop them. And I can't ever get them now because I feel like the players aren't going to try anymore, and they're going to give up points every game. And you're hearing these pundits on television talk about, well, the Jets defense should just play harder and better. What the hell? How you supposed to do when the quarterback throws 3 picks and can't complete simple passes?
Yeah.
My man's scared. He's scared. You can't.
How did he get worse? I guess you just answered it. He's scared. Yeah. Because he
lost confidence.
I don't know how
it
was possible for him to get worse. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what happens. Is gone. Right. He has no confidence in it. He has no confidence to do the basic plays and stuff like that. That's why Baker's doing well in Tampa. Because Tampa believes in him in a sense that we're like, hey, we know you're not Tom, but we want you to be good. And he's embracing it. He's being his cocky self down there without the commercials. But this guy, the Jets, they're not going to trade for a quarterback. They're going to believe in the tank altogether. They're not going to trade any players either because they're like, we're not going to trade the players because we believe that we'll draft a quarterback next year and we'll be fine. Or Aaron Rodgers supposedly through his power of rubbing an embryo on his ankles or something is going to bring him back into football next year at the age of 41 playing dynamic football. So it's tough money.
So we can't look forward to the waivers this week because we're recording after the waiver report. There were 25 waiver claims in our league this week. 12 of them were successful. 8 teams had claims on De'Von Achane, who went to stealing the wins. Achane had 18 carries for 203 yards and 2 touchdowns. Do you think he's this year's waiver lottery ticket or just had a good week?
Good week. Well, he might be the lottery ticket, maybe, because Mostert, will he survive?
I know.
That's always the question. Mostert, yeah. I've always said it, friend of the show. Hey, he stays healthy, he's a monster. The problem is he gets hurt all the time, and he's 30. So it's like, Achane, this thing about it, the value, what Miami did last Sunday, I can't say it will never happen again because we're like 70 points will just never happen, and it happened. But having it twice in the same season is ridiculous. And the idea that 70 points happened and no one got fired is even more of an anomaly because somebody should have been hung after the game for real. You know what I mean? If it was the head coach, anybody, somebody, dog, you just can't give up that many points. And the defense was so bad, the players didn't try. They were going to the most. It was a college football score. You know what I mean? Achane had 200 yards rushing, and he had the last run was 63 yards. with them not even trying. He's just like, all right, cool, I'm gonna run to the end zone. Like, for real? That's what we're doing? You know, like Matt White was on the board with a 60-yard touchdown. You know what I mean? Like, what?
So Sean Payton is obviously a very good head coach. I mean, maybe even a Hall of Fame head coach.
Is he?
I couldn't believe it when he took this job. Maybe. Like, probably. I'll say probably. But I couldn't believe he took this Denver job. They gave up so much draft capital and cap space to get Russell Wilson. And then to get Sean Payton, they had to give up even more draft capital. Like, they don't have a draft for, like, 2 more years after this. And now you have an aging quarterback on a bad contract with no way to rebuild this roster. Like, what did you sign up for, dude?
So is Sean Payton a good coach? I would tell you, as a Bucs fan, I'm biased. And the Bucs play the Saints this weekend, so fuck them. But no, he's not a good coach. Drew Brees carried him. When he turned out bad defenses every year, and Drew Brees in shootouts trying to keep up, and they're like, oh, look at Sean Payton, dial it up. What about Drew Brees throwing the ball, man? He is the one to throw the ball here. Look at him dialing it up and blah, blah, blah. Calm down. He's not the one. This isn't like the Niners offense where, like, you're seeing some really exotic shit. Like, no, it's Drew Brees dropping back and throwing the ball on slant routes, deep posts, and stuff like that. Or, like, hitch posts. It's the Pierre, was it the running back Pierre? Or,
Thomas.
Thomas. He had Reggie Bush, you know what I mean? Sproles, like, just scat backs. That's what you did. And the defenses were bad all the time, except the year that you had Bounty Gate where you're trying to kill people. And you retire Kurt Warner. You retire Brett Favre. You're retiring people because you're just dirty. You know what I mean? So, and then you talk about the failed NFC Championship games where they lose. It's always losing. Cam Jordan's given up all hope. He just knows that he's never going to win a championship as a Saints player.
So that's funny that you brought up being biased because you made me realize that I'm biased in that I hate Drew Brees. I've hated him for a long time. And, you know, when you follow sports and you don't like someone and you're like, I don't like him. And someone's like, well, why don't you like him? And you don't know. You don't have an answer for it. But years will go by and they'll prove you right. And you'll be like, I knew it. I knew I didn't like that asshole.
There it is.
Yeah, I knew it. And the thing with Drew Brees is we're the same age as Drew Brees. Like, I know him. Like, when I see him talk, I look at him and I'm like, I know you. I know you, dude. You're not fooling me. You're a piece of shit. So maybe I was giving all the credit to Sean Payton instead of giving it to Drew Brees.
Yeah, you know, I'm giving it to Drew Brees because he's a talent. As a person, yeah, he might be a little talented. But at the same time, is Drew Brees is Kirk Cousins the next Drew Brees? That's what it's like. Something about Kurt. You're like, I don't like you, Kurt, but you're really good, so I can't deny you. Because people tend to not like Kirk Cousins. People just don't. You know what I mean? He got guaranteed $100 million contract, but they're always like, he don't play good. But Kirk Cousins is balling this year. You know what I mean? He's playing really good. You know what I mean?
I never really got the... Yeah, I never really got the Kirk Cousins hate. With Drew Brees, like, it's not even that. How did you just put it? You said, oh, he's like a scumbag. The problem I have with Drew Brees is I would like it if he wore his scumbag on his. Drew Brees is trying to walk around like he's a good person. That's my problem with him. He's trying, and then he'll say some shit and he'll backtrack and he'll apologize, and it's like your apology means nothing because you don't. You obviously are just apologizing because people got mad at you. Like, it's okay if people get mad at you.
You gotta own it.
I don't know. Remember,
kind of like Brett Favre. You know, what I mean, Brett Favre, you're a scumbag. Own it. But he does trying to own it, and you're like, you're even scummier now because you don't own it. You know what I mean? Like, at least Jay Cutler owns it. Jay Cutler's like, yeah, I'm a scumbag. Yeah, people don't like me, so what? I'm gonna smoke on the sidelines. And he's on a show. Like, he's doing a weekly football show because he's like, I'm Jay Cutler. Yeah. I own who I am. You know what I mean? Or Bill Romanowski, own it.
I wasn't surprised when NBC wanted to dump Drew Brees after 1 year. I was just like, yeah, because you guys got to see him firsthand, and now you know that he sucks.
You're like, I don't like this.
You sent me down a dark path.
I don't like the vibes. The vibes are all off. Vibes. No.
All right, yeah, so let's break into these box scores. After this week, 7 teams are 1-2. That's over half the league. So fresh meat, that's me. I played Stealing the Wins. I won 160 to 125. So the Bears fell behind big against the Chiefs, and their pass attack isn't scaring anybody. So Khalil Herbert only managed 31 yards and 5 points from Stealing the Wins' flex spot. He has the Baker and Stafford quarterback controversy. He's trying to piece together the quarterback position after the Rodgers injury. Really no way to go wrong here because Stafford had 15 points and Baker had 14 points. This is the third week in a row that Stealing the Wins also kept the Bengals head coach on his bench, which is, if you're not going to play a head coach, I don't know why you're rostering him. You know what I mean? You can put a lottery ticket running back in that bench spot if you're not going to use the head coach.
I think because he's waiting to see Cincinnati get hot. And when Cincinnati get hot, then it starts paying off.
Yeah.
I probably would have started him over the Rams this week. I probably would have done it. Especially going into Monday night, he needed all the points he'd get. Going in there with Baker Mayfield starting. So he's like, and Chris Godwin. So it's like, this is a Monday that I need to get all the points. Either I'm gonna bet high or just lose. So starting the defense, New England defense was very solid. He got really good protection from his kicker. Darren Waller is turning into a fantasy bust, man. We were literally hyping him up, and
way too much hype.
We're looking stupid because we're like, he's gonna be great this year, and we're like that. I have Darren Waller in another league, 2 league. I have him twice in 2 other leagues, and it's terrible. Chris Godwin, hold out, Stealing the Wins, hold out on Godwin. We're playing against the Saints this week with the tough matchup from Mike Evans. Chris Godwin should get 100. He likes getting 100 yards against the Saints because their second corner is not good. So, he has St. Brown, though, that came up big with 9 catches for 102. Najee Harris, surprisingly, 12. But your team really came out with Kenneth Walker the third, man. 97, 2 tutties. Jettis doing what he does. You sold stock on Dotson.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sold stock on him. You talked
high
on him.
I dropped him.
Yeah.
I dropped him because I kind of put it together in my head. So I drafted Dotson, and then I took Odell Beckham as like my Dotson insurance, and both of those fell flat tremendously. And with Dotson, like, he wasn't giving me anything, and I got Josh Palmer on a waiver claim, who should have, some production while Mike Williams is out for the Chargers. I've since traded Josh Palmer. I guess I'll get to that later. But I needed a roster spot, and Dotson was giving me nothing, and I kind of put it in my head. So since Tyreek Hill got traded from the Chiefs, they haven't had like a legit fantasy wide receiver since then. And if the Commanders are running like a bastardized version of the Chiefs offense, how are they going to feed, with an inexperienced quarterback like Howell, how are they going to feed Dotson fantasy points? So I just cut bait. Yeah, no Jalen Waddle for me. Tutu, I got into him before. He got 17 points on my bench. But yeah, Kenneth Walker, he's going to be a top 10 fantasy running back if he could stay healthy, and I got him in like the 5th round.
That's what's up. That's money right there. That's how you win championships.
I like him so much that I picked up Zach Charbonnet to be his handcuff.
Handcuff, just to make sure. The commitment that Seattle's doing for their run game. Why not?
So what I did today in lieu of the Dotson drop was I got offered a trade. Breece Hall. I would be trading Breece Hall for Terry McLaurin. I love Terry McLaurin. I would get him every year. I couldn't get him this year, so I settled for Dotson. I get offered that trade, and I want to press accept. I say, let me check my next week's schedule to make sure I don't need a running back. Lo and behold, Kenneth Walker's on a bye week, and I was like, I need Breece Hall. I can't get another running back in time. So I made some trade offers for just shitty running backs, and I ended up getting Dalvin Cook for Josh Palmer, and then accepting the McLaurin for Breece Hall trade. So it seems like a wash between Jets running backs, because they're both terrible.
Yeah, it all depends which one's gonna pick the click. You know what I mean? Which one's gonna actually do it?
Yeah,
because it's hard. It's hard to tell.
Breece Hall. Yeah, Breece Hall definitely has like the higher ceiling between the two, but all his yards this season were on one carry in week 1.
True story. And then he complained about it, and there's turmoil because the Jets' offense is the Denver Broncos' offense of last year, so there's turmoil here. It's not feeling good. It feels bad out here in New York.
All right, so for the next game we have the Boy Scout Trombones. They are 1-1 versus the New Day Co-op, who fell to 1-2. Boy Scout Trombones got 206 points, so they won the 40 high fives from the league budget this week. He had a great week for everybody other than the quarterback. He got stuck in no man's land because Joe Burrow was truly questionable, and he had the Monday night kickoff. So, I mean, I would have done the same thing. I would have played a different quarterback. I wouldn't have waited for Burrow.
That's a hell of an anomaly because you're saying he played against a guy that started Tua, scored 40 points from his quarterback, and he scored 101 points.
Which is almost half his total points. Yeah.
And then his quarterback scored 2, and he scored 206.
2.
Fuck.
That might be like the lowest our league has ever seen from a starting quarterback.
But that's the craziest, that has to be the biggest lopside I've ever seen, where your quarterback gives you 2 points, and you still score over 200 points? Monster, 49 points. Devontae Adams, monster game, 42 points. Like, the hell? He almost won because 2 players. He had Puka, Travis Kelce doing, Taylor Swift things. Jeff Ford. Is it Jeff Ford? John Ford? Whatever. Jerome, 18 total yards, but 2 touchdowns. Niners defense, 11 points from the kicker, because it became a kicker game in Monday Night Football. Miami head coach with a 50-point win margin, which is nuts. That's going to mess up. That's going to skew all next year, right? Their win total, doing what they did against Denver, mixes up every total now. So if you're like Miami Dolphins, well, they have the highest yards. Well, yeah, they had the second most yards ever in a single game, or the points scored differential. Well, yes, because they have so much because of that. Or, now it's like head coach. When you look at head coaches for next year, like how much points Miami's head coach scored last year. Yeah, it's going to be a lot by a margin because the Denver game messed up everything. So it's just wild. James Conner, the Walking Dead, still do what he does. 22 points, 98 yards on Dallas's.
You owe him an apology.
Look, I'll call him the Walking Dead. He won't be a corpse, okay? Corpse is bad, but he's the Walking Dead, all right? Like the undead.
It's still early.
It's still early, but he's the undead. You know what I mean? We're a New Day co-op. He's getting a tough time. Algier's getting seated. He's getting back. He's been pushed in the back now. Garrett Wilson's no quarterback. Andrews, tough time. Yeah. T-Law is on his bench.
He hasn't been right. Yeah, now he's stuck with sitting Lawrence every week because you can't bench Tua.
Yeah, and I have that same exact problem in my other league because I have Trevor Lawrence and Tua, but I've been trying Lawrence and I've been sitting Tua, and now I've switched him because I have no choice. So, and then he has Gibbs, which he has 80 yards, but he's not punching. He's not hitting pay dirt, and he's a first-round draft pick or second-round draft pick. Am I correct? Jay Gibbs.
Second, I believe. Maybe first.
Second. You know what I mean? It's like, that's really tough because Montgomery's eating it all up. And we never really saw that one happening. So, it's a tough week for a New Day. You just got to dust yourself off and reassess and keep moving. 206 points is really is tough. It's easy to lose that way because you're like, I lost, and you just can enjoy the games the rest of the week. But it's just tough to lose that way because you're getting smashed.
Yeah, sometimes it's better if you're going to play somebody who scores 206 points. It's kind of better if your team shits the bed because then you have a better statistical chance of your guys bouncing back next week than if, say, he would have scored like 150 and had a decent week. Like, it's the law of averages. All his guys can't be that bad again next week, and you weren't going to win anyway because Boy Scout Trombone scored 206.
Right. You know what I mean? It's like you just gotta hope that they blew their load and that was like it for them. So it's like hopefully you'll never see something like that again. But it's amazing to see that much. I 4 touchdowns from him in Miami, and the other running back had 4 touchdowns, and the quarterback had 4 touchdowns. That's a lot.
He also left 31 points on his bench in Adam Thielen. Andy Dalton was a quarterback for the Panthers, who is a upgrade like professionally over Bryce Young. But that's not a bad thing to leave Thielen on your bench because he answered a lot of questions. He has questions about his age, being on a new team with a bad quarterback. But now you feel like you could trust him if you're the Boy Scout Trombones. Like Thielen is now a weekly option.
Yeah, I mean, wait a minute now. Adam Thielen now, who was quarterback last week?
Dalton.
There you go.
Right.
And this week, Dalton will not be quarterback. Like, the rookie's coming back in again. So, you got to temper. Hold on. I got to see at least twice with the rookie quarterback. Because Andy Dalton, he's a steward. He'll play as long as he wants to play because Andy will keep getting jobs. But because he'll just do enough. He'll play good enough to get a backup job. You know what I mean? So, no hate on him. But, yeah, you put him in a game, he's like, I'm going to throw to this guy.
He's in the Mark Brunell stage of his career where he's just like a mercenary backup. So that brings us to your game. Buck, what you think versus ESPN Fantasy Football is garbage. You took the L here. It's your second loss in a row. You're now 1-2. Jordan is 1-1. He had a bye week. This score was 183 to 114. I guess I'll let you go and I'll.
Tough time. This Ridley is not paying off. I had a tight end for the Browns. I dropped him, and I picked up Dalton Kincaid. So I thought maybe he was gonna get fed like that. My man had 2 catches for 3 yards. What is this? What are we doing? Mike Evans, he did all right. I think Bucks defense played admirably. I didn't even start the Bucks head coach because I was like, they're not going to start. They're not going to win. And then I was like, well, I'm losing by so much. I might as well start him because I'm going to lose. I might as well lose big. So I start him. But I have Tank Dell on the bench, which I'm going to start this week. He's been showing.
Yeah.
He has took over the spot over Robert Woods. So I'm like, all right. So one of my holdouts is there. I had Melvin Gordon on my bench as well, and he's been like put back to the practice squad. So it's like, what are you doing, Melvin? Drake London.
Did you consider playing him? That was one of my questions.
What, Drake London? Tank Dell?
No, Melvin Gordon.
Oh, Melvin Gordon? I did, but I was like, well, no, I'm going to give, because Madison, I was like, he has one more time to be bad, and I'm going to be dump him, because I just have to move him, because it's not going to work. But he showed up, and I'm good with that. Jay Williams with Denver, tough, 12 points. I'm still waiting for Taylor for Indy to play. I don't want to trade him, because I have a feeling that they're going to have to decide he's too good of a talent to not play him. And I get it's a contract situation, all that, but something's got to come out with it. The big news for me that came down today is my man Jay Williams for Detroit. His suspension got shortened, so he got reinstated today. So your guy Laporta might be in trouble because the catch is going to have to come from somewhere. Oh. And Jay Williams, he's going to do it. But it's been garbage. Mahomes, easy money. Swift, 130 yards, no tutties, but still. Antonio Brown, AJ Brown with he had a lot of yak yards. Olave came up late. A lot of those yards in Olave was in that Green Bay game was the Saints trying to march back. He had back-to-back catches on that drive. That was 40 some yards. I was like, you kidding me? I'm watching the points get added on to me. He had KC defense, KC head coach, and then he had Matt Gay, who did something historical at kicking. So I was like, come on now. So I mean, Billy, go ahead. Just go ahead. I'm done.
So Tank Dell, I mentioned him as a waiver name last week, and then he went unclaimed on waivers. So I'm an idiot. You scooped in the next morning and picked him up, and yeah, now he looks like a player for you. Are you concerned about Calvin Ridley's fall back down to earth, though?
Calvin Ridley.
Because if so, I want to trade
probably,
for him.
I don't know if I'm not sure if I want to trade him because Drake London is more upsetting for me. The idea that the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons is not doing well, and I'm holding out because this is my long-term thinking here that if the quarterback plays bad enough, he's gonna get benched, and then Heineke comes in, and Heineke knows how to throw. So that's where I'm holding out for. You know what I mean? Because he's way better than Ritter. So we'll see. I know it's been garbage. He has Alvin Kamara coming back this week. Sad news. He has him coming back against Tampa's good run defense. Yes, the Eagles had a good run game, but the Eagles runs good on everybody. They're the Eagles. That's what they do. Yeah. But back down to earth, the Bucs are pretty good at the run defense, and especially against a Derek Carr that might be kind of banged up, or James Winston, who's a pick machine. So we'll see how that plays out. Yeah, Jerry Jeudy had 5 catches for 81 yards. He's finding his way. He still has Kadarius Toney on his team. That's kind of amazing. It's tough. He has the Kansas City handcuffs. So that's interesting as well because the way Mahomes is, he's just slinging the ball anywhere, and he's not keying in on anybody. I mean, if he does, it's Travis Kelce. So I don't know. It was a bad week for me. It was by like midday, I was like, I'm already lost. I saw the point roll in. I was like, well, I'm already done for. There's no coming back. But Jared Goff hasn't had a big game for me other than week 1. He's been doing like 2 touchdowns a game or 1 touchdown. So I'm kind of like, I'm having a little buyer's remorse with him. I'm just hoping that with Williams coming back, he might actually, the air raid might come back.
Yeah, but all the quarterbacks are kind of down. Now all the quarterbacks are throwing for like 250 and 2 touchdowns. And I mean, that's exactly what you're getting out of Goff. ESPN is Garbage also won the DeAndre Swift waiver claim sweepstakes last week. So he's got that going for him, as well as Kamara coming back. So now we'll move on to Smash Hawk versus Dead Money. This was a battle of 2-0 teams. Smash Hawk won 163 to 108. Smash Hawk is one of 2 undefeated teams left in the league at 3-0. All his players had double digits. Jamar Chase finally woke up. 12 catches, 141 yards. He has a mild quarterback controversy, though. Geno Smith had 21 points, and he started Dak, who got him 20, so he couldn't have gone wrong. Who would you have played between Geno and Dak?
Oof. Maybe Geno, because Geno has a higher tendency being a shootout. Dak Prescott, man, I'm scared for him because last game he was playing very scared.
He's getting worse.
He's very cautious. He's playing very cautious. Like he's hearing people say you're throwing a lot of picks, so he's not trying to throw picks. So he's not letting it go free, unless it's a guaranteed like a wide open person. So this week coming up, it'll be interesting to see how he plays and what his stat line looks like. He had good production, though, from Jacobs from Las Vegas, Debo, Samuel. Hawkinson is probably the best tight end in the league. The way Kirk Cousins throws the ball and he trusts him like that, he's probably the best. Pittsburgh defense, man, my God. No, he had Philly defense, my bad. Philly defense with, like, the safety. Yeah, they have the safety going on there. And then Dead Money has Cleveland defense, which is the best defense in the league. They're yet to give up 20 points this year. So I think they haven't allowed a rushing touchdown this year.
That's crazy.
So that's something. Your boy Amari Cooper had
Speaking
7 catches,
of that,
116.
Yeah, I owe him an apology. I'm even using him in the 6-team league. He looks so good. Speaking of no running back touchdowns, though, there were 5 running backs used in this game between the 2 teams. It was Jacobs, Rashad White, Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard, and Brian Robinson Jr. 0 touchdowns between the 5.
Yeah, Derrick Henry had the unfortunate opportunity to go against Myles Garrett. So that's not good. White had the opportunity to go against Philly. defense, which their D tackles 6'8", 260 pounds. Yeah, good luck with that. Jacobs is kind of interesting why he didn't get in the end zone. Tony Pollard, well, Dallas, of course. That's tough times. Brian Robinson Jr., the buzzsaw of Buffalo. So it was tough. It was a tough week. Tough week for them. But, I mean, it's very lopsided. I'm beginning to notice this league that, not in our league, but just the NFL league, it seems like games are very lopsided. Like, it's either, like, shootout or it's a close defensive game, and it's, like, it's really weird. It's just, that's why the fantasy scores are becoming lopsided. It's not that we have bad players. Just the players aren't producing on an even rate. You're like, I have Derrick Henry in a 6-person league. And at one moment, he was at -2 points. I was like, wait a minute, what? He's like, why is he at -2 points? He's Derrick Henry.
Remember, we called him safe in the draft recap, and he has not been safe at all. Yeah. Oh, what you were just saying about lopsided scores, I think it's a lot of bad coaching in the NFL now. Like, I pay attention to this stuff. I bet there's 10 coaches I couldn't name. Like, Eberflus is the Bears head coach.
Eberflus. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, that was a hard one. Yeah, that's a hard one. Eberflus, whatever. It's the Cardinals head coach. I forget his name. The Colts head coach.
Gannon.
Like, both those guys, I can't remember their names. You know what I mean? They're just Eagles coaches that are listed. They just got their job just because they were on the Eagles.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what they do now. Like, a team makes a Super Bowl appearance. A surprise team makes a Super Bowl appearance, and then the league just, like, raids their coaching staff. Like, Frank Reich got another job this year. Like, really?
Which is ridiculous.
He's not a good coach.
He got fired mid-season. How do you get fired mid-season and then you get another job immediately?
And to make it even worse is the guy he replaced, Steve Wilkes, was pretty good as the interim coach for the Panthers last year after they fired Matt Rule.
Pretty good? No, they were very good. They were trying to come. They were like second place in NFC South, and he turned them around after they traded Baker. And they were like the defense. They became a very defensive team, and he was making forgot the guy, but the quarterback name, but he made them actually legit. And they had a running game without
Darnold.
McCaffrey. Yeah, Darnold. It's like they had a running game without McCaffrey. Like, they were playing for that coach to give him a shot, and then they were like, now we're moving on. It's just wild times. And they're already plotting now. Like, I'm hearing rumbles that Tampa Bay, their offensive coordinator, which is his first time being offensive coordinator, he was a quarterback coach for the last 15 years. They're like, he's a hot name for next year. Are you kidding me? What do you mean? Because he makes Baker look good, all of a sudden he got to leave? Wait a minute, guys. What about the other people?
This is the exact problem we're talking about. So, to dead money real quick, Anthony Richardson was out in this game. Daniel Jones was in. He's having this controversy every week. Daniel Jones got him 7 points. That's not good. He had Cam Akers on his bench. He was a DNP in his first game with the Minnesota Vikings. The Rams just gave him to the Vikings. All they did was exchange 6th-round draft picks and give up Cam Akers. So basically any team in the league could have had Cam Akers. Are you worried about what Cam Akers is going to do to specifically your Alexander Madison stock?
No. I'm not a believer. Sorry. Just not. Sorry.
I could see why you say that. I think I would be worried, though.
Not a believer. Just leaving it simple as that.
All right. So we got 2 games left. This next one is Mile High Salute. They fell to 1-2 to Renegades of Funk, the other undefeated team in the league. This game was 132 to 106. No Saquon for Brandon in this one, the Mile High Salute. So you'd think he'd be on high alert of what to do with his roster. He had no Brandon Ayuk also, but he didn't get the memo, and he left Ayuk in his lineup. And he took a 0. Like, come on, man.
That's tough. And it's like,
if you're listening to this, Brandon, you got to stop and do push-ups.
It's tough because he could have Sutton in there, maybe made it a little competitive. But it's tough because you're looking at it. That's the coulda, shoulda, woulda game. Because you're like, damn. He started Zach Ertz when the Pittsburgh tight end actually got in the end zone for the first time this year. So I understand why he started Zach Ertz because he's more consistent. But Zach was way covered in Dallas, so that didn't work out. Not starting, getting a 0 because you started somebody because they were out. That's a low cow of the week right there, my friend. It's hard to look bad on that. So you kind of had a chance of maybe winning with maybe a couple more scheming, but I understand why some of the roster moves. T. Higgins, I like T. Higgins, man. It's just 2 for 21 because Chase was going off. That's tough because the previous week T. Higgins had a really good game. So it's lopsided. It feels in Cincinnati they haven't figured out the offense. Breida, I don't know how I feel about New York Giants running backs. I just don't know how I feel.
Yeah, Brandon didn't have much of a choice with Breida with Barkley out. He played DeAndre Hopkins. He traded DeAndre Hopkins for Christian Watson. What do you think of that trade? I would have rather had Watson in that trade.
I mean, Christian Watson, he's coming back, so we'll see if that will work out for them, and it's going to equal more points for them. Loving scared to throw the ball. That's when he's not, dude. He's not. So Christian Watson will get the ball. I feel bad for like Dobb owners. They're probably going to be in trouble with that. They're going to take a hit with that one. But I think it's fair. It's just Tennessee is like a place where wide receivers die. Like, I don't understand. Like, they need to figure it out. Like, I don't think the head coach, Matt Vrabel, is going to get fired in Tennessee. I just don't think he will. You know what I mean? But they definitely need something new in Tennessee because Vrabel's been there for a while now. And it's the same story every year. I'm tired of hearing about the quarterback isn't good. Like, your defense isn't really necessarily good anymore. And that's who you are. And that's bad when you're a defensive coach and your defense isn't really necessarily holding the candle anymore. That's a problem.
Yeah, so we talked about Sutton, and Sutton alone over Ayuk wouldn't have got Brandon the win, but Sutton and Freiermuth would have got him the win. 13 plus 19 is 32, minus the 2 that Ertz had is 136. So Brandon could have won this game 136 to 132, which is just enough to put him over the hump. For Renegades of Funk, Gabe Davis had 1 catch for 35 yards and a touchdown. That's about what he does. He had 2 touchdowns from Jalen Hurts, but it came with 2 interceptions for 27 points. So even when he's bad, he's still good.
Yeah, it's a true story. It was just that's tough, man. Like I said, getting that 0 from Ayuk. The Renegades of Funk lucked out because Gabe Davis only had 1 catch for 35 yards. So it's like, if he'd have that 1 catch, he would have had a 0 as well. And it would have canceled each other out. But it's, coulda, shoulda, woulda, right?
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, Renegades of Funk could have been had this week, but instead he moves to 3-0. So that brings us to our last game. Sweetness 34, 151. Tampa Bay Punishers 127. Both teams are 1-2, and this was a classic head coach could have flipped the game. Sweetness 34. Mike Williams 7 catches for 121 yards for 25 points, but he was lost for the season.
Yeah, that hurts even more. Because you see what his potential could be, and now it's gone. So now, what Keenan Allen has this renaissance. Keenan Allen and Mike Evans have this renaissance of 30-year-old wide receivers that's always been consistent every year, showing their consistency in their 10th year. It's tough because Tampa Bay, their team, Tampa Bay Punishers here, Herbert, the only quarterback to over 400 yards this week, did big time. But CeeDee Lamb came up really small. Lockett, another game where he disappeared. Like I said, one time he's here, next time he's gone. Zach Moss showed out for him. Jacksonville defense just laid an egg. You against Houston, and you're just telling me that you guys are going to do that. And then you followed up with the kicker, only making 1 field goal out of 3. That's just, and then his head coach, Baltimore head coach, lost in overtime over kicking again. Where on the bench, he has Baltimore defense that gave him 7. It could have been, this game could have been, if the ball would have bounced a couple different ways, he could have got the win. It's just tough. Christian Kirk on the bench. Is Jeff Wilson, he's going to come back from IR after week 5, possibly. That's going to mess up the whole running back backfield. Because Jeff was the starting running back.
Yeah.
So it's going to be some
Yeah, they
major
like
ish
Jeff
going on
Wilson
with that.
there. Yeah. So to lock it, we nailed this one. His first 3 weeks, 3 points, 25 points, and 8 points. I like to refer to the defense head coach and kicker. It's the bottom three in our lineups. I like to think of that as like our fantasy football special teams. He got a negative 14 from them combined. You mentioned the Jacksonville defense. Houston put a negative 7 on the Jacksonville defense. Like, who saw that coming in the preseason? McManus,
Nobody.
3 points. He was 1 for 3. If my kicker goes 1 for 3, I'm cutting him. Rage drop Tuesday morning.
Yeah, he's already gone. Tuesday morning, he's already on the one-way train. So is it time, the question is it time for Sweetness 34 to sell stock on Justin Fields?
I would, but I don't think he's going to get anything for him. I was going to bring up Fields here. So, yeah, he played Brock Purdy over Justin Fields, and that paid off. Purdy, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns. I wanted Fields in the fantasy draft bad. I told you I contemplated taking him number 1, which probably should have had me institutionalized. I'm so glad I didn't take him in the second or third. I'm so glad Heater beat me to it. That's all I can say. I got Lamar, who's obviously better than Justin Fields. Justin Fields would have been a good quarterback in another era, like before the forward pass was invented.
Yeah, before pass was invented. Damn, man. It's weird because Justin Fields went to the same college that Stroud went to. They played the same offense in college, and you're seeing dramatically different quarterbacks. But Justin Fields was more. What's the word I'm looking for? He was more successful in Ohio State than Stroud. But Stroud, he is confidence. It has to be confidence because it can't be talent because the talent that Fields have it's supposed to be better than it. Yeah, the coaching, but then their head coach is defensive coach. I have no idea who the offensive coordinator is in Texans. So shout out to him for what he's doing. Because I always tend to look at like the quarterbacks and then like where they come from and then like what system they ran that come out. Because like Matt Jones and like Tua ran the same offense the same year. So it's like, you know, how are they playing? Why is he not playing like that guy? They should know the same ish. You know, Baker Mayfield and Hurts, they ran the Oklahoma spread offense. So, you know, they are both susceptible to throwing picks. Like, it's a game of inches and how the ball bounces sometimes, that how people are going to talk about you.
So my last note on this to close out the game recaps is he had George Kittle go 7 for 90 for 16 points. So he had the Purdy to Kittle connection. Who saw that being a viable fantasy strategy?
I did not. But I think maybe it came up big because I did say in the draft special that Purdy and Ayuk have a better connection. But if with Ayuk out, well, you got to throw to somebody. So Kittle's
good point.
Magically appeared, you know, because that how it kind of happens there. Debo's always kind of Debo don't get his because the coach is going to scheme Debo to have the ball on in arounds, little like bubble passes for Debo to run people over, beat Debo, I guess. So it's all about schemes and quarterbacking and coaching, you know.
All right, so to wrap it up, you got a fantasy football Hall of Fame nominee?
I'm going to go with actually Priest Holmes tonight. Priest Holmes of the Kansas City Chiefs. Before there was a guy named Mahomes. There was a little short man who got drafted by Baltimore, who was part of the Baltimore Super Bowl team of 2000. And he backed up Jamal Lewis. And he went to Kansas City. And he went ahead and had probably one of the greatest runs in NFL history for a short period for a guy his height and age. So 5'9", played at Texas there, and he went undrafted. He is an Offensive Player of the Year in 2002, 3-time first team All-Pro for 3 straight years, 3-time Pro Bowler those 3 straight years, 2-time rushing touchdown leader the last 2 years, 2002 and 2003, NFL rushing yard leader, scoring leader in 2002. He's a Kansas City Chief Hall of Famer. He's the Sun Bowl MVP back in college, and he's a Big Ten conference. He has statistically 8,100 yards, rushing 4.6 yards per carry, and 86 total touchdowns in his very short NFL career from 97 to 2007. But take it that his career really didn't blow up to 2001. He was a non-starter really in Kansas City, and for those in Baltimore, and then for those 6 years at Kansas City, it was a big deal. He showed up, he exceeded expectations, rushing for 1,500 yards his first season there, and he's the first undrafted player to ever do that in NFL history.
I was watching the game where Sean Merriman basically ended him. It was a vicious hit, and I can honestly say I felt like I knew Priest Holmes was better than the opportunity he was getting in Baltimore. I drafted him in a fantasy league, and it had to have been the year 2000, where he was on the Ravens. I had seen the Ravens play a couple games, and I was like, a Priest Holmes guy's pretty good, and I took a flyer on him. He was stuck behind Jamal Lewis, though, and then, kind of forgot about it. Something like that doesn't work out. You just move on. And then to see him explode with the Chiefs, I was like, hey, I wasn't wrong. I did see something.
The Chiefs, though, like at that time, they had Tony Gonzalez at tight end and Eddie Kedison at wide receiver.
Vermeil.
Yeah, Dick Vermeil's head coach. Shout out to Priest Holmes. He made the most out of it. Sean Merriman, he's a scumbag himself. Scumbag. He just
lights out.
He tried to become a WWE wrestler and failed at it.
I think he was married to like Tila Tequila too.
Oh no, that can't be true. That has to be cap. That can't be true. No.
They were at least like dating or something.
All right, I'll take that. I cannot take Tila. No, please no. She's a nutso now. She's weird. She dresses up like a Nazi.
Oh wow. Oof.
Yeah, that's
all right, well, we'll leave everybody on that. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, leave them on that.